What is going on, guys? Joe with Odyssey Off-Road here. We got another video coming at you today, sponsored by our friends here at Restoquad. So Restoquad, if you guys haven't seen, I have a video out on their headlights, these same headlights here. I have installed them on my Raptor 700, and they sent me another set here for my daughter's Raptor 350, and they say they're a direct bolt-in for those as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them installed on the Raptor 350. And then also what they sent was, if I, kind of optional if I wanted to use it or not, but I won't be using it per se because I don't really have a need for it. But what I'm going to do is this is a full street legal kit wire harness that they offer. It's about $99 on their website. And there's a couple options on how you can run it and set it up for your liking. With turn signals and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lay it out. I'm going to show you how it would work, talk about the features of it and the benefits, and then we'll get to installing these LED lights on the Raptor 350. So you guys can see the difference. There's the Restoquad headlights on the Raptor 700, and there's the Raptor 350 with the stock headlights. They're yellow, faded lenses, dulled lenses. They're original. This is a 2006 model, so it's to be expected, but they get that way. The lenses get milky and kind of tarnished fairly quick on the stock headlights. It was like that on my Raptor 700. That's only a 2020 model, so these things are awesome. They throw out a ton of light. Those are just the low beams. I have a full video on the install of these with compare and contrast between the stock headlights and these. You guys can check that out. I'll leave a link for that video at the end of this. You guys can watch that after this one, or you can watch that one first, whatever your preference. But yeah, these things are awesome. I've had them out at night. They throw great light. You can set the daytime running lights up for white or yellow. I have them set to yellow. I think it's a pretty cool contrast. I think on this model we'll do white. And then I'll throw the high beams on here. I'll show you. You can see totally separate. They're projector beam LEDs for the high and low beams. So they work great. They look great. I mean, it's much better than the stock headlights, as you can see. And offer a really cool, clean look. The lenses are better quality as well. And as you can see, these lenses are actually, because they're made for running street legal, these are DOT and SAE approved for running them on the road. So these lenses are much more durable than you have on your factory lenses. They're going to hold up to much more abuse as they're designed for being able to run on the street. These things are pretty much, I mean, if you look at them, the black bezels inside, the quality of the construction, the way they're built, they're pretty much like getting a high-end set of headlights for your truck or your car, which can run, $1,000 or more. These are about $249 on the Restoquad website. And the headlights are plug and play, as you can, you'll see here, but there's also two other wires that come off the back with another plug on them for working with the street legal kit. And the way that would work is if you turn your signal on, there's a switch in this harness which we're going to show you. You can turn they'll use these DRL lights as your front turn signals, or you can set them to hazards or what have you. So let me lay out the harness. I'll kind of show you everything that's included in it and how it would function. What you can do with it, and then you guys can get on the Restoquad website if you have any more information that you would like. They're very cool guys. Hit them up. The whole crew over there is very good with responding and answering your questions. So they'll get you set straight and whatever you need information wise, and get your order out in a timely fashion. So I believe the harness is about $99, and then you have the options for the rear turn signals. You don't have to use them with their headlights. If they'll send you out a little adapter pigtails to work with this. If you're going to use your factory headlights and additional turn signals that maybe you want to install in the front and leave your factory headlights on. So we'll get this. Let me get this set up, laid out on the ground here, and we'll kind of go over the details of how the harness works. All right, guys. So I have it kind of laid out on the ground here, how it would be on your quad, on your ATV. So this will work on the Raptor 700, the Raptor 350, YFZ 450. So the way this is going to work is from the back of the harness to the front. At the back, you're going to have your plug and your tail lights that you can just they plug in. You can also get brackets that'll work with the Raptors and the YFZs. That you can mount these turn signals. And these turn signals, you'll have functional brake lights, red running lights, and then amber turn signals. These are full LED as well. And they'll just plug in here. You see all the wires that come off the back of the harness. And then as you move forward on the harness, you got your two connections. It's going to run right to your battery. So you have a fused for your positive, then your negative battery terminal. And you're just going to hook that up to the battery. That's going to power the whole kit. There are relays installed in this kit, pre-installed up front, where you're going to mount them at wherever is convenient for your machine to mount them. If you're doing it on a Raptor 350, there's a lot of room under the hood there. You just pop that front hood off because it's an air-cooled machine, so there's no radiator up front. So you can kind of install the harnesses and your horn right there. On the Raptor 700 with the radiator and a YFZ 450, probably going to be a little more innovative as to where you're going to mount that stuff. But so as you move forward, the harness is all loomed, very nice quality. You have your relays here that you can mount wherever you find place for, and then you have your horn. So depending on where you live and what the street legal requirements are for your state or your country, I know a lot of you guys from Europe run your ATVs on the street, but I've seen many posts where you guys have the street tires on them and all that stuff. And some of the ATVs over in Europe, like the Scrambler 1000, come with turn signals on them already from the factory. So you guys can get your Raptors and YFZs street legal with just the purchase of this kit. And it's not that expensive at all. Like I said, $100 for this harness. And then what you have here, so you have your horn, your relays, and then at the front of the harness here, you have your plugs. And this is just going to plug into this plug on your headlights. This white plug is going to go to your OEM plugs where you take your factory headlights out. That's going to plug in here, and that'll just work the headlights. For the DRLs in the front to use as turn signals and running lights, you're just going to plug the harness right into there. So there's no cutting, splicing. It's all plug and play if you're going to go with this application here. And then you have your other one for the other headlight. And then you have your controls that go up to the handlebars. So depending on, again, where you live, and this is optional on how you want to run it, you have this red button here for your hazards. A lot of areas have their street legal requirements, or you have to be able to have a dedicated button for to put your hazards on. So there you go. If you hit that button, that's going to flash your hazards. So the front amber lights will flash, and then the rear tail lights will flash just like it will on your automobile. And then if you don't require to run that in your area, you can just simply unplug it from the harness and not use it, kind of tuck this away, zip tie it out of the way, because you're going to have this on the handlebars as well. And then what this is going to do is this here you're going to hit, that's going to turn your headlights on, and then here you're going to have turn signal left and right. So if you click it, you'll hear it's a positive engagement. And so if you click on both sides, you can turn the hazards on yourself if you just turn on both sides yourself. But I know in some areas they do require a special dedicated control for the hazards, so you have that there in the kit. And again, you cannot use that if you don't want to have the extra. You just want to have these controls on your handlebars and not have all the extra stuff. You can just have this set up, and then you have your button here for your horn. So really cool setup from Restoquad. Again, and also fairly affordable. I mean, if you were to buy this whole kit here, you're looking at about $400, and you have everything pre-wired. You don't have to do no cutting, no splicing. The headlights are about $250. You have $100 for the harness, and I think the tail lights, I could be wrong. I'll post it on the screen here. But if I remember correctly, I think they were around $40 or $50. So altogether here, you're looking at about $300. And they are, like I said, really good guys to deal with. Really, really quality stuff. I've been running the headlights on the Raptor for a while now, and they hold up really well. So I'm anxious to actually get them out this year in the dunes. Haven't had them at the dunes yet. and do some night riding with them and see how they do out there where it's really dark at night and you do need some additional lighting. I do not run a light bar or light pods on there, so the extra lights will, the better LED lights will help significantly with that. So what we're going to do now is we'll get these headlights installed on the Raptor 350, and I'll show you how to do that on the Raptor 350 if you have one and you want to order these headlights and fit them onto your Raptor 350. So let me get this whole stuff cleaned up here and put away. I'll get the Raptor 350 pulled out in the middle of the garage, pop the seat off, and then we'll get to working, show you where we're going to hook up the wire for the LED daytime running lights. If you want to run the daytime running lights, if you want it to just come on with the key for a simple installation, they have you can hook them up that way too. You'll just basically take one of these wires here, whichever, if you want to run the white amber or the yellow amber, and just kind of tap it into the wire for your positive for the headlights. And this way when you turn your headlights on, the DRLs will come on with that. The way I have it set up on the Raptor 700 is I have the daytime running lights on all the time. As soon as you turn the key on, the DRLs come on, and then the headlights will operate separately. So check out that video on how that's wired, but we're going to try and get it wired up like that, the same on the Raptor 350 here. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so as you can see, I got the one headlight out on the left side of the machine. And then what you're going to do is there's some rubber grommets. You'll see you're going to transfer those over. Two of them are going to have the metal insert because there's a 10mm bolt that goes through and holds it in. And then on the back side one, it's just the rubber grommet because it just slides onto a little pin on the frame of the machine, and that holds it on there. And you're going to take this bezel, this black bezel, it's going to transfer from your OEM headlights to the new ones. Okay, so we're going to get, this thing's filthy, so we're just going to get it cleaned up, wash it up in the sink, and then transfer it onto the new one. All right, so now you see I got the bezel cleaned up a little bit, got a little heavy dirt off, got it installed on the new light. And you'll see it fits perfect. There's the old light, and then the light for the other side without the bezel. And here you go with it, with the bezel. Now I will tell you, this is my second set. Obviously I've installed the easiest way I've found to do it, and this one went on in about 5 seconds, is start with the light. Insert your light in the bezel, this end here first, this pointy end. Stick that in there first and then work it in that way and just pop, you'll set it in and then just force. You'll see there's different spots where there's little retention areas where you're going to kind of pry that back and release it to get it off the old light. It's the reverse, obviously. Here, you're going to stick this end in first and just apply some pressure on in front of each one. Work your way from the point to the back side until they all snap into place. And you'll see they're all in there, holding it in perfectly. And then we're going to go over to the machine and I'm going to get this thing installed. The way this goes, this is the spot on the frame I was telling you. That grommet goes right there. It's going to stick right into there. Right? And then you're going to have these two 10mm bolts. One goes up here and the other one right there. I'm going to get the plug, get it plugged in first. And it's going to be that white plug. It's going to go right to the factory harness right there. I'm going to put a little bit of dielectric grease in there. The factory plugs were actually hard to get out. This is a 2006. I don't know if those lights have ever been out of the machine. So they were stuck in there pretty good. So I'm gonna spray some contact cleaner in the factory plug. Put a little dielectric grease in there before I plug it in. And if you're working with a machine like this that's older, and it's been through some mud and gotten water in it and stuff, I suggest you do that too. Just clean up your connections. Put a little dielectric grease in there so you don't have any future issues with connection and water. Especially if you use a pressure washer to clean your machine, or if you you're riding the rain a lot or in a lot of water crossings, I always recommend putting some dielectric grease in your electrical connections. And the headlights definitely don't exclude themselves from that category. So let me get that done. We'll get this headlight put in, and then we'll show you kind of the difference too with one in, one out, and how it looks. So there you see, we got the one installed, low beams on only. I mean, look at the difference. Just visibly, the appearance alone is a gazillion times better. It makes it look like a totally different machine. It makes the front of, I mean, you would never notice a 2006 Raptor 350. Obviously, it's a little dirty. I didn't clean it before the video, but when this thing's cleaned up and shined with these headlights on, it's going to look like a new machine. You're never going to know it's an 06, but I mean, look at the difference. That ugly yellow light, which is really like a candle in the wind when you're out at night on the trail, and these things really shine bright. And I'll put the high beams on, and you see the difference there. I mean, it's a night and day difference. So, and as you see, let me get the key shut off here. Don't want to kill the battery. This machine actually hasn't run in a while. It's been sitting. My daughter doesn't use it all that much, and it's summertime here. It's very hot. We haven't actually been riding that much anyway. So you'll see the rubber grommets, how that works. Two 10mm bolts, one in the back, the pin there, it slides on. And then this whole process, I mean, if you're just swapping the headlights and you're not even using the DRLs, you can do that too. Just kind of tuck this out of the way, cap it off, or tape up the plug and zip tie it up. This was 5 minutes work, taking the old headlight out. It's literally a plug and play process. So literally 5 minutes. Take that out, swap the bezel over, and that included me washing the bezel off, you know, and installing it on the new one. So it really isn't a big process. Let's get the other one installed, and then what I'll do is I'll show you guys how to wire. We'll do afterwards the daytime running lights. We'll wire them up for daytime running lights. All right, guys, all wired up. So super easy. Actually, this was an easier way to do it than I did on my 700. What I did here was got my multimeter out. I was kind of looking in the back under the seat where the starter relay was and trying to find a place to kind of tap into for you just want a voltage signal when you turn the key on, but when the key's off, so with ignition. And I couldn't find anything in the back that I felt confident in, you know, tapping into. So what I did was right off the ignition switch here, you have the wire harness comes off of that. It's just two wires. There's a red and a brown. So I used a T-tap, and I tapped right into the brown wire. The red wire is your constant hot. That goes to your ignition switch. And when you turn your key, that just basically opens, you know, the circuit, closes the circuit, I should say, and it sends the voltage in a loop back through the brown wire. So you tap into that wire. When you turn your key on, you'll get your daytime running lights. So I'll show you that in a minute, how it looks. And I did them to the white, not the amber. Like I have the amber on the 700, and she wanted it in white on here, so that's where we did it. So you see I kind of followed along. I taped it all up to the harness so it makes kind of looks factory. And the wire comes down, goes to the plug, to the back of one light, and then from one light, you got to run a jumper to the second light. So you have your two plugs that come off here, one for your factory plug, and then you have the second plug that hangs off that's got a brown and a red wire. The red wire is going to be your white light. The brown wire is going to be if you want to hook them up amber. If you're using that wire harness I showed you earlier, it's going to change it with the button on the handlebars. So, and then you can see, so I ran the white wire from there down to this red wire, and then a jumper white wire from here to the other light. Crimped them together, taped it all up nice so it looks factory. And then that other white wire comes from there across to the other white wire harness for the red wire here. You'll see. And that light. Now we flip them on here. I'll show you what it looks like. So it's just simply a matter of turning the key, and you have DRLs, daytime running lights. Now when you turn your headlight switch on, you have your low beams and high beams. So it looks killer. So that is it, guys. I am gonna button it up. Simply a matter of taking the hood off. The hood is just two Allen head screws right up here. Pops off. Easy peasy. Again, guys, Restoquad for these headlights. The street legal kit. Great customer service with them. I highly recommend getting your lights from them. You'll see some other similar lights floating around on the market from much less reputable suppliers. I would recommend Restoquad. Go deal with those guys. They're awesome, top-notch customer service. If you have any questions about installation and all that stuff, they're very helpful. Reaching out to them with that. And again, if you got to go street legal, that's the go-to place, in my opinion. They have everything you need there right on their website. So go to restoquad.com. I will put the link in the video description. Let me get this all buttoned up and we'll show you what the two Raptors look like side by side, both with the Restoquad headlights. There's the two side by side, the yellow amber and on the 700 and the white on the 350 Raptor. The white is definitely brighter than the amber is. It's actually almost hard to focus because it's so bright. There you go. Get a little better view how they look. Look killer. I love them. Looks really nice. Quality is mint. Fit and finish perfect. And then you can see the difference there between the two colors if you're kind of deciding on which route you want to go. You got the white and the amber. That's it, guys. From Joe from Odyssey Off-Road here. Smash that like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. On Instagram, we're Odyssey_Offroad. And you can find us on Facebook. Both links to both of those are also in the video description. We'll see you guys on the next one.